Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me welcome you to Math Zone African Motifs. Let me welcome you to this channel. Today, we are going to be on Business Studies Grade 11, whereby we are going to make a revision on this subject, Business Studies Grade 11. So our revision is on Term 2. As you know, we are on Term 2. So that is paper one. We are going to revise paper one. So this paper that we are going to revise is a paper that was written in Eastern Cape Province. So that is that, good people. So this paper was written in June 2025. It was written in June 2025. Like we have said, this is in relation to business studies, grade 11, paper one, good people. So grade 11s, let us be together from the start of this presentation and to the end of it. So without wasting much time, let us get to our information and instructions. Information and instructions. So here are our information and instructions. So good people, informations and instructions, or instructions and informations, are very, very important because they are the ones that are going to guide you on how you're going to answer the questions. So please don't make any mistake of ignoring them. Don't make any mistake of skipping the instructions and information. For now, guys, allow me to go straight to the questions. For the sake of time, allow me to go to the questions, but do not make any mistake of not attending to instructions. So that is that. So now let me go straight to question one, section A. So here we are on question one, section A. Section A, which we are also told that is a compulsory question. Section A, compulsory question. So we don't have any choice, but we are to attend to this question. So that is question one. So 1.1, as it says, various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Write down the question number 1.1 to 1.15, 1.1.5. Choose the answer and write the letter A to D of your choice in the answer bar. That is that. Now let us get to our business of today. 1.1.1. Vula Bookkeepers operates in the dash sector as they specialize in providing auditing as well as accounting services. So we are given these four options, good people. A is primary, B is secondary, C is tertiary, D is economic. So we have to come up with the correct answer. And the correct answer there is C. C is a correct answer. Tertiary sector. Tertiary sector. Meaning to say, Vula Bookkeepers operating in the tertiary sector as they specialize in providing auditing and accounting services. So we know very well that tertiary sector provides service to people and business. So Vula Bookkeepers has auditing and accounting service. So it belongs to the tertiary sector. That is that. So now let us move on to 1.1.2. As it says, Kwala and Galas are two retailers combined to become one business. So this referred to as A, merger, B, takeover, C, acquisition, D, alliances. So the correct answer there is A, merger. Merger is our correct answer. As we know, a merger happens when two businesses combine to form one business. To form one business. That is that. So Kuala and Galas join together. Therefore, it is a merger. Hope you are together. Let us move on, grade levels. So now we are on 1.1.3, which says employees of Janga Construction participated in dash when they refused to work. A, we have lockout, B, we have picketing, C, we have strike, and D, we have go slow. So the correct answer is C, strike. The correct answer is C, strike. We know a strike is when employees refuse to work to demand better conditions or wages. So the workers at Janka Construction refused to work. So it was a strike. Because we are saying strike is when employees refuse to work. So those employees refuse to work. So that is why we are saying it's a strike. That is third grade levels. Now let us move on to 1.14. 1.14 says the dash are types of goods when consumers know exactly what they want and are willing to search until they find what they are looking for. So A, we are given a specialty goods, B, convenience goods, C, shopping goods, D, unsold goods. So the correct answer there is a specialty goods, meaning A is correct. Meaning A is correct. Because when you're talking of specialty goods, we are talking about goods, specialty goods are products consumers specifically want and are willing to search for. So customers usually insist on a particular brand or type. So that is that, as we can say, the specialty goods are types of goods where consumers know exactly what they want. And they are willing to search until they find exactly what they are looking for. So they know what they want. They know what they are looking for. So those are specialty goods. Hope you are together with people. Let us move on. Now we are on 1.1.5, inspection of final product. Inspection of final product to ensure that it meets the required standards is referred to as, we have A, quality assurance, B, quality control, C, quality management, D, quality system. So the correct answer is quality control. B is correct. Because when you talk of quality control, we're talking about where it involves inspecting. It talks about inspection, good people, of the final product, to ensure it meets what? To ensure that it meets the standards. It meets the standards. That is that. So this is done after production to check for defects. So that is what we're saying. This is the correct answer. Let us move on to 1.2, good people. Let us move on to 1.2. Let us move on to 1.2. So here we are to 1.2. 1.2. 1.2 is about filling in the missing words. As it says, complete the following statement by using the words provided in the list below. Write the only words next to the question number 1.21 to 1.25 in the answer book. So these are the words that we are talking about. These are the words that we are going to fill in we're going to use to fill in. So that is that we have dispatching, forward, target, log out, full, go slow, no, perfect, backward, follow up. So those are the words that we're going to use. 1.21 says business have dash control over the micro environment. We are talking about the micro environment. So when you talk of micro environment, we know that is found within the business, that is internal. So now we have to make sure that you come up with the correct one to fill in here. So the correct word there is full. The correct word there is full. So we know that business have a full control over micro environment. Business have full control over micro environment because it consists of internal factors such as employees, management, and resources. So business can influence that. They have full control with people. Let us move on to 1.221. So like we've said here, it's a full control. That is 1.21. That is 1.21. 1.22, a form of instruction, a form of industrial action where employers refuse employees entry during strike action is called what? It's called lockout. It's called lockout. So you can see here we have a lockout 1.22. Lockout occurs when employers prevent workers from entering the workplace during industrial action. That is what we're saying. It's the correct answer. Lockout. 1.23, a dash link is when a business sells goods and services to business in the same sector or to business in another sector. So the correct answer there is forward. The correct answer there is forward. Meaning to say, we're going to say a forward link is when a business sells goods and services to business in the same sector or to business in another sector. That is a forward. So a forward link happens when a business sells goods or services to another business for further use or resale. That is in short that. So we have said it's forward 1.23. That is that good people. Now let us be on 1.24. During the dash, the process, the business makes sure that the scheduling and production systems are running according to the plan. So during what? During follow-up. During follow-up. During follow-up. So that is that during follow-up. So we do a follow-up. That is 1.24. That is 1.24. So we are saying during the follow-up process, the business makes sure that the scheduling and production systems are running according to the plan. That's what you mean. So the follow-up process checks whether the production and scheduling are working according to the plan. That is that, good people. Let us be on 1.25, which says a particular group of consumers at which a product or service is aimed at is called a dash. So it's called a dash market. That is a target. That is a target market. That is a target market. So it's simple. Says a particular group of consumers at which the product or service is aimed at is called a target market. So we do have a target which is 1.25. So that is that, good people. Target market is a specific group of consumers a business aims its products or service at. So hope we are together, and we are to move on to 1.3. Let us be on 1.3. So 1.3 is a matching question. As it says, choose a description from column B that matches a term in column A. Write only letter A to J next to the question number 1.31 to 1.35 in the answer book. For example, 1.36. So we have column A, as we are told that these are the terms, and column B, we are told these are the description. So we are going to look at the description that best or suitable for these terms that we are given. Hope we are together, good people. So 1.31, we have demographics. Meaning to say, we are going to look at the description that matches what? Demographics. So we can go through them from A to F and see, from A to J, sorry, and see which description do match what a demographic. So you can start from A and you can look and look and look and go, good people. And we can see there that C is a correct answer. C is a correct answer, good people. That matches that term, C, because C says refers to the statistics of the population such as gender, age, race, education, and level of income. That is that when you talk of demographics, we are talking about population statistics such as age, gender, income, educational level. So we're saying C is correct. C is correct. Now 1.32, globalization. So when you go through that and then look for globalization, without even wasting much time, we can see E is the correct answer for that. Business expand their operations to other countries. So E is correct when you talk of globalization, because globalization means business expand and operate in other countries around the world. That is that. So let us move on to 1.33, where we are talking about a kaleidoscopic packaging. So with kaleidoscopic packaging, we're going to look at the description that matches that, and then you can see as we are going, you can see now that I is the correct answer for that. I is correct answer for that, and then we can write here I. So kaleidoscopic packaging is the special packaging designed to advertise or celebrate important events such as sports or competitions. So as you can see, I did talk about that packaging changed to advertise an important sporting and event or competition. So that is that, good people. Let us move on to another item, which is 1.34, total quality management. Total quality management. So with total quality management, F is correct answer. F is correct answer. As it says, total quality management ensures full involvement of all employees to satisfy a customer needs. To satisfy customer needs. That is that, good people. Total quality management ensures all employees work together to satisfy customer needs and improve quality continuously. So that is why we are saying F is correct. So you're going to say F. So F is correct. Now let us be on production planning item now. Production planning, we're going to look at the description that is going to match production planning, and you can see D is correct. D is correct. As it says, used in the production process that will decrease cost and time and increase output. So production planning involves organizing the production process to reduce cost and time while increasing output efficiently. So D is correct. People, D is correct. So that is that, and that is all about section A. That is all about section A, meaning to say now we have to move to section B. We have to move on to section B. So now we are going on section B, like I said. So here we are on question 2, like I've said, it's the section B. Section B, where we are asked to answer 2 questions in these sections, but we are going to attend to all questions since we want to fully prepare ourselves for this coming test or exam that you're going to write for Zoom. So there is a note that given where we are told that where it says clearly indicate the question number for each question that you choose. The answer to each question must start on a new page. It's a very important instruction. For example, question 2 on a new page, question 3 on a new page. So to those instructions that I've talked about, this instruction is there. So that is why earlier on I said instructions are very, very important. Now let us be on question 2, business environment. Business environment. 2.1, name any 4 components of the microenvironment. Name any 4 components of the microenvironments. So we do have our answers here. We have our answers. So here are the components of microenvironment. So those are the variables or components that are found within the business. Within the business. So that is that. So the first one is the vision, mission statement, goals, and objectives. So we know very well that when you're talking about that, this vision, mission statement, goals, and objective guide the business on what it wants to achieve. This is a guides now, like we're saying, guides the business on what it wants to achieve, on what it wants to achieve. Guide the business on what it wants to achieve and how it plans to succeed. So, for example, a school uniform shop aims to become the best supplier in Pretoria. That's its vision. Or we can say a baker's goal is to increase sales by 20% in 1 year. That is its goal. So that is that. All these are internal. They are found internal in the business. The business has a full control on that. Also, another component is organizational structure. With organizational structure, we know that organizational structure shows responsibility and authority. It shows how responsibility and authority are arranged in the business. Like I'm saying this point. Organizational structure shows how responsibilities and authority are arranged are arranged in the business That's when you're talking about the organizational culture. For example, we can talk about a manager supervises cashiers and sales staff. That is organogram. That is organizational structure. A manager is supervising cashiers as well as sales staff. Or we can talk about departments such as marketing and finance have different duties. That's when you're talking about organizational structure. And it is one of the component of micro environment. Then we have organizational resources. With organizational resources as one of the component of microenvironment, we're talking about resources used by the business to operate effectively. Resources used by business to operate effectively. So that is that. So, for example, when you talk of those resources, you can talk of computers, you can talk of machinery, you can talk of employees, you can talk of man or capital. So that is that. So we have another component of microenvironment which is called organizational culture. So when we talk of organizational culture, we're talking about the values and behavior shared by employees in the workplace. We are talking about the values and behavior shared by employees. And behavior shared by employees. In the workplace. For example, workers treating customers politely. That is the organizational culture. We treat our customers politely. We treat our customers as kings and queens. So that is that. So we are a customer-oriented organization. That is our culture. So that is that. Teamwork and punctuality being encouraged. That is the culture that we are talking about. Then we have management and leadership. So with management and leadership as one of the components of micro environment. That is where we are saying managers direct and supervise workers to achieve business goals. I'm saying managers direct and supervise workers to achieve business goals. So that is that. For example, when you talk of a manager motivating employees, or you can say supervisor checking employee performance. That is management and leadership. Then we have 8 business functions as one of the component of micro environment. So here we're talking about activities performed to keep business running smoothly. When you're talking about that, we are talking about activities performed to keep the business running smoothly. So that is that. For example, we can talk of marketing products. We can talk of managing finances. Those are the examples of the business functions. So that is that. So now let us go to question 2.2, grade 11s. 2.2. On 2.2, we are just asked to outline the advantages of networking. Outline the advantages of networking. So now let us go to our answers, good people. Advantages of networking. So that is what we are asked. Advantages of networking. As it says, business can attract new customers, resulting in increased market share and profitability. So here we attract what? New customers. Meaning to say, networking helps business gain more customers. Networking helps business gain more customers and increase profit. So that is that. That is what we're saying. It attracts more customers. It helps to gain more customers. We are saying helps to gain more customers. So if we gain more customers, it means our market share is increased. So this simply says our profits are going to increase. That is what I can say, and increase profits. That is that grade levels. So that is what this point means. So again, it says networking can be excellent source of new perspectives and business ideas. So source of new ideas, because business gain fresh ideas and perspectives from others. We are saying business gain fresh ideas and perspectives from others, and perspectives from others. So that is that. And perspectives from others. For example, we can talk of learning new marketing methods or discovering better production techniques. So that is why we as a business gain fresh ideas and perspectives from others. That is the advantage that comes with networking. Now let us move on to another point of statement. As it says, allow managers to build new business relationships and generate new business opportunities. Business is going to be able to build business relationships. So it means networking creates partnership and opportunities. Networking creates partnerships. It creates partnerships and opportunities. That is that. For example, suppliers offering discounts. That is opportunity that you're going to get. Business collaborating on projects. That is that. That is a partnership that you're talking about. Because once you get discount from suppliers, you're talking about the opportunity that you're going to get. Collaborating with or on projects. When you collaborate, it means now you create a partnership. Hope we are together, good people. Now let us move on. Networking also plays a role in the marketing and expansion of business. It helps with marketing and expansion. So it means that networking increases awareness of the business. So it means increases so I am saying networking, it means that it increases awareness. It increases awareness of the business. It increases awareness of the business. So that is that. For example, promoting products at events, or we can even say expanding into new areas through contacts. That is that with people. Also assist business in making future business decisions. So we are talking about assisting in decision making. So meaning to say business get advice and information from others. Hope you understand that. For example, learning market trends, or you can getting expect financial advices. So that is that good people. Business can gain support when representation to various authorities is planned. So you gain support from authorities, meaning to say business may receive assistance when dealing with government or regulators. For example, industry groups negotiating regulations or business chambers supporting members. So that is that. Now we are to move on to question. We are to move on to question 2.3. 2.3. So here we are on 2.3. 2.3, as it says, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So the scenario is about a CRAB solution, GS. So CRAB solutions sell gadgets and accessories, and they are currently experiencing challenges. So the GS suppliers of stock are unreliable as they cannot deliver on time. So two managers are inexperienced in some management spheres. Noctex have opened a new store. They have opened a new store that sells gadgets at lower prices. So that is that. So now we are to identify, as the question says, identify two challenges of the market environment experienced by GS, the CRAB solutions, motivated by quoting from the scenario above. So now we are to what? To give motivation from the scenario. We are to identify a challenge and then motivate from the scenario. So the first challenge we can talk of what? A short of suppliers. We can talk about short of suppliers as our challenge, short of suppliers. Then we are asked to do what? To motivate from the scenario. As we are told that business struggle when suppliers cannot provide stock on time. As it has said that, GS suppliers of stock are unreliable as they cannot deliver on time. That is a challenge because you're saying CRAB solutions suppliers of stock are unreliable. Their suppliers are unreliable. They cannot deliver on time. So that is the motivation that we can talk when you're saying short of suppliers. So we are saying business struggle, they struggle when suppliers cannot provide stock on time. When suppliers cannot provide stock on time, provide stock on time. So that is that. That is our first motivation that we can talk about. So now, as we are asked to identify two challenges, so another challenge is a competition. Another challenge is what? Competition. Competition is another challenge that we can see from what? From the given scenario. Competition. Competition is the one. As we can see, business compete against rivals selling similar products. Business are going to compete against the rivals selling similar products because we were told that another gadget store selling cheaper products. That is when we can talk about this. As it says, knock knock tags have opened new store that sell gadgets at lower prices. So it means there is another business there, another gadget store selling cheaper products. That is when we can talk about knock knock as our motivation two. The motivation one we have said is this one. So we can now see them from the given answers so that it can be easy. Let's go to the answers there. 2.3. We have seen that we talked about shortage of suppliers. we know that our suppliers were unreliable. Have said that they cannot deliver on time. Competition, like you say, knock knock techs have opened new store that sell gadgets at lower prices. Hope we understand each other. So now let us go to 2.4 with people. 2.4. Let us be on 2.4. So 2.4 says, explain the following types of lobbying. Then we have 2.41, hedging against inflation. 2.42, influencing supervisory body and or regulators. Influencing supervisory body or regulators. So let's quickly go to our answers on that question. Then that is 2.4, like I've said, 2.41. So 2.41, we're talking about hedging against inflation. So as it says here on a given answers, hedging against inflation. As it says, business use hedging to protect their financial investment by spreading the risk. Meaning to say business protect their money and investment from losing value due to inflation. For example, you can talk of buying property as an investment or investing in a gold or shares. That is that. Business invests surplus funds so that its value grows at a faster rate than inflation. So meaning to say business try to influence laws and regulations affecting them. So that is that, influencing supervisory bodies and regulators. So the business uses hedging by buying bonds, shares, and property, or buying precious metals like gold to protect capital from the effects of inflation. From the effects of what? Of inflation. So that is that. Also, it says it is a method that business try to reduce the risk when unsure about prices of fluctuations. Also, hedging against inflation by investing surplus funds or money in a investment with intrinsic value, such as gold or property. So that is that. So now let us be on 2.42. Let us be on 2.42. 2.42, like we say, influencing supervisory body or regulators. So that is that. Supervising body or regulators. So when you're talking of supervising body or regulators, that is when business try to influence laws and regulators affecting them. So like it says, there are a large number of supervisory or bodies or regulators who operate in the business environment. So that is that. There are a large number of supervisory bodies and regulators who operate in the business environment. So through their membership or advocacy submissions, they may be able to influence changes to existing regulations. That is through their advocacy or their submissions. Business take an active role in professional bodies. That is that. So business managers are involved in debates and discussions that shape public policies. Business influence and negotiate with these regulators to protect their own sustainability. So it is the best of interest for business to adhere to the guidelines and restrictions of these bodies in order to stay in a business. That is that. So now we are to go to 2.5. 2.5. So 2.5 is about the scenario as it says. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. That is Temba Technologies, TT. As you say, Temba Technologies offer internet services in a small township. Most of people in township cannot read and write. So they could not employ people from the community as they do not have necessary skills needed in the business. So that is our scenario. So now we are asked to identify two socioeconomic issues that affect TT from the scenario above, motivated by quoting from the scenario, quoting from the scenario, and you're going to use this table as a guide to answer that question. So socio-economic issue is illiteracy. It's what? Illiteracy. It's illiteracy. Illiteracy because you are told that these people, they cannot read and write. This part. They cannot read and write. That is our socio-economic issue. So as we are asked to motivate our answers is that people cannot read and write properly. That is that people cannot read and write properly. They cannot read and write properly. So that is that. They cannot read and write properly, so limiting their opportunities. That is that. So now we are to go to another challenge, socioeconomic, is what? Lack of skills. Lack of skills. People do not have required training or abilities. So we are saying people do not have the required um, training. They do not have required training or or abilities. So that is that. So we can go to our answers and then we also look for them. 2.5. That is 2.5. So here we are. Like I've said, it's illiteracy, and you have said most people in the township cannot read and write. Lack of skills, they could not employ people from the community as they do not have necessary skills needed in the business. So that is that. So now let us go to 2.6. 2.6. 2.6 is discuss the negative impact of strikes as a socio-economic issue in the business. And 2.7 suggests ways in which business can have a direct influence on the environment. So now we can go to our answers for people. 2.6. So here we are on our 2.6. The negative impact of strike as a socio-economic issue in the business. As it says, strike actions have a potential jeopardizing relations and may lead to unhealthy relationships between the employer and the management as well as employees. So here we're talking about the poor relationships. We are talking about what? Poor relationships. We are talking about poor relationships. As we are saying, strikes can damage trust between employers and workers. For example, workers are going to refuse to cooperate with management, and then this is going to have what? Increased conflict in the workplace. Also, it says it can affect teamwork in the workplace and it can affect teamwork in the workplace in instances where not all workers are in support of such industrial action. So, meaning to say, it's going to affect teamwork. It's going to affect teamwork. That is that. It's going to affect teamwork. It's going to affect teamwork. Not all employees support the strike. That is that. So, meaning to say, for example, we're going to have arguments between workers. So, that is that. So, business suffer financial losses due to low levels of productivity and customers' confidence. Confidence is adversely affected. Here we're talking about what? Financial loss. We're talking about financial losses. So we're talking about financial losses. Business lose money because production is going to decrease. That is that. Strike actions may lead to production losses and decline in sales or economic growth. Production and sales decline. So we are saying production and sales. Production and sales decline. That is that. You need to say goods and services are not produced normally. They are not produced normally. So that is that with people. So now it says business may be forced to close down. Business may be forced to close down on operations after strike actions. So here we're talking about what? Business closure. We are talking about business closure. We are talking about business closure. Some business may shut down temporarily or permanently. For example, factories closing during strikes or small business collapsing after losses. So that is that. May force business to retrench some of its skilled workers to recover from losses. So retrenchment of workers. Here we are talking about retrenchment of workers. We are talking about retrenchment of workers. Business may dismiss employees to recover losses. For example, reducing the workforce or cutting employee benefits. That is that. Looting, destruction of business property or infrastructure, and intimidation of non-striking workers. So we are talking about damage and intimidation. Here we are talking about damage and intimidation. We are talking about intimidation. So that is that. We are talking about damage and intimidation. Property may be destroyed and workers threatened. So that is that. So banning delivery trucks, for example, threatening non-striking workers, that is what we are talking about. Employees can lose their pay with no work, no pay, rule applied by the business. So loss of employee wages. We are talking about the loss of employee wages. That is that. Where workers lose income because of no work, no pay. For example, employees not paid during strikes, workers struggling to afford transport. That is what we are talking about, good people. Business have to hire employees to replace striking workers and increase the training cost of new employees. So hiring replacement workers. That is the point that we're talking about. Hiring replacement workers. Hiring replacement workers. Meaning to say business may employ temporarily workers. So hiring casual laborers, training new workers. So that is what we are saying, that this is going to come with costs. So that is that grade levels. Now again, business may lose market share or customers to competitors. And during the period of strike, loss of customers. Loss of customers. That is what you're saying. Customers may buy from competitors. You're going to lose customers to your competitors. You find customers now are switching to other supermarkets. That is that. So we find that their buyers are ordering from other suppliers. So it means now you're going to lose what? Market share. The image or reputation of the business might be damaged. Scares of potential investors. Damaged reputation. Here we are talking about what? Damaged reputation. Damaged reputation. So that is that. The image of the business may suffer. Investors avoiding the company, negative media coverage, for example. That is that. Now let us move on to the supplies. As it says, the supplies of goods and services are interrupted. Interrupted supply of goods and services. Here we are talking about interrupted supply of goods and services. So operations are disrupted. For example, delayed deliveries, empty shelves in stores. That is what you're talking about. Prices sometimes increase to offset the cost incurred by strike. So we're talking about increased prices. Business may raise prices to recover losses. So we find that, for example, higher transport fees, more expensive products. That is what we are talking about. Hope we are together. Now let us move on to 2.7. Let us try to be on 2.7. As we have said, 2.7 is about suggesting ways in which business can have a direct influence on the environment. That is that. So 2.7. So 2.7. So here is 2.7 answers. Ways in which business can have a direct influence on environment. So as it says, business need a flexible by getting involved in research and development so that they can continue to operate. Research and development. That's what you're talking about. Research and development. Research and development. Meaning to say business improve products and operations to stay competitive. So you have to research, you have to go and make a research for you to stay competitive, for you to gain competitive advantage. For example, that is when you develop new technology, when you're improving your product quality so that you differentiate yourself from your rivals, from your competitors. That is that. Influencing their suppliers by signing long-term contracts for their raw materials at a fixed prices. So here we're talking about long-term supplier contracts, long-term supplier contracts. That is that. Meaning to say business ensures stable prices and supply. For example, fixed price contracts for raw materials or agreements with transport companies, that is that with people. Also, it says influencing customer base by creating new uses for product or taking customers away from competitors, finding new customers and convincing them they need new product. So here we are about influencing customers. Influencing customers. That is that. Influencing customers. How so? That is by convincing customers to buy products. For example, advertising campaigns, introducing new products, uses, and stuff like that. Also, influencing regulators through lobbying and bargaining can influence their owners using information contained in annual reports. Meaning to say, we're talking about bargaining sessions, management and unions negotiate workplace. Oh, no, lobbying and bargaining. Sorry for that. I wanted to say lobbying and bargaining. Business negotiate with regulators and unions. You find that they have discussions with labor unions or influencing government policies. That is that. Initiating bargaining sessions between management and unions. You are talking about the bargaining sessions. Management and unions negotiate workplace issues, wage negotiations, discussions about working conditions. Those are what we are talking about. Influencing the owners using information and contained in annual reports. So that is that. Negotiate strategic alliance agreement through contractual processes. So business cooperate for a mutual a mutual benefit. Where you find, for example, two companies sharing technology or joint marketing campaigns. So that is that. So that is all about question 2, good people. That is all about question 2, where you are to get your 40 marks. So let us move on to question 3. Now let us go to question 3. Let us be on question 3. So here is our question 3, as it says business operations. Question 3 is about business operations. So we are on question 3. It says, name any 2 quality control bodies. Name any 2 control bodies. So that is that. So we go to our answers for that question. So here are our 2 control bodies. So we have South African Bureau of Standards, SABS, South African Bureau of Standards. So South African Bureau of Standards ensures products meet quality and safety standards. It ensures products meet quality and safety standards. Quality and safety standards. That is that. So, for example, you can talk of electrical appliances tested for safety or food products checked for quality. That is that. So, another one is International Organization for Standardization. So, International Organization for Standardization, that is when we're talking about the ISO. That is when we're talking about ISO. So this develops international quality standards. It develops international quality um, standards, quality standards. So that is that. So, for example, we can talk of ISO certification for factories. We can talk of ISO stands for for customer service. That is that. Also, we can talk of quality cycles, wherever we are talking about small groups of workers solving workplace problems, small groups of workers solving workplace problems. That is that. So that's when I'm talking about employees discussing production improvements, workers suggesting ways to reduce waste. That is what we are saying. So now let us go to question 3.2. 3.2, good people. 3.3, outline the requirements of good trademark. Outline the requirements of good trademark. So let's quickly go to our answers for that question. So here we are. Requirements of good trademark. As it says, trademark must be attractive and promote the product. Attractive and promotional. So meaning the trademark should appeal to customers. Should appeal to customers. For example, bright logos. So that is that creative packaging design. That's what you're talking about. Also make it easy for customers to recognize the product. So that is that. Easy to remember, easy to recognize. That's what we are saying. Here we're talking about easy to recognize. Easy to recognize. Meaning to say customers should identify it quickly. That is that. So we can talk of, for example, McDonald's golden arches. So let it be easy for us to recognize it quickly. Easy to recognize and remember and pronounce. Easy to remember and pronounce, meaning customers should recall the trademark easily. Customers should recall the trademark easily. The trademark easily. So that is that. For example, Coca-Cola. You see, it's easy for us to recall that. Samsung, it's easy for us to recall that. That is what the requirement of trademark. Must suit the product. Must suit the product. The trademark should match the product image. The trademark should match product image. That is that. It should match the product image. So that is that, for example, luxury logos for expensive watches, fun logos for children toys. That is always it. Let it match the product image. So that is that. Suitably designed for the target market. Suitably designed for target market. It must appeal to intended customers. Must appeal um, must appeal to intended customers. So that is that. Must appeal to intended, sorry. We are saying, let me write it neatly, as we are saying, must appeal to intended customers. That is that. Must appeal to intended customers. For example, bright colors for children, elegant branding for professionals who be together with people. Let us move on. Let us move on. Let us move on. Must be different from its competitors. So the trademark must stand out. Trademark must stand out. It must stand out. So that is that. That is wherever you're going to use unique symbols, original packaging styles. So that is that. Be different from your competitors. Must promote the image of the enterprise. So it should improve the company's reputation. That is that, for example, premium looking logos or professional branding. Link the product to its promotion strategy. So the trademark should support advertising, like logos used in TV adverts, brand slogans on posters, that is stuff. Draw the attention of consumers. So the trademark should attract consumers in short. So bold colors, they can attract the attention of consumers or eye-catching design. So that is that, good people. Let us move on. Also, a good trademark helps build brand familiarity. Build brand familiarity. Customers become familiar with what? With the brand. So it means that is that repeated use on marketing or brand logos on uniforms. That is that. Also, a good trademark must be registered according to the requirements of the trademark. So it must be registrable. Meaning to say trademark must meet legal requirements. So that is that, good people. So now we are to go to 3.3 question. 3.3. So here we are on 3.3, where we are asked to read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. King's Producers, KP. King's Producers sells the range of dairy products and they have introduced new products. They temporarily reduce the price of eggs to attract more customers. New products are sold to convince customers to buy product as soon as the introductory offer is over and prices are increased. So now the question says, I identified two pricing techniques used by KP, that is King's Producers, motivate by quoting from the scenario above. Use the table below as a guide to answer 3.3 1. That is that. So we have this table which has pricing techniques as well as the motivation that we are to quote from the scenario. So the first one, we can talk of promotional pricing. Can talk of promotional pricing. That is that promotional pricing. Remember, we are asked to quote from the scenario. We were told that we were told that the price are temporarily reduced to attract customers. So we can look after for that. They temporarily reduce the price of eggs to attract more customers. That is that. This is what you're talking about. They temporarily reduce the price of eggs to attract more customers. That is what we're talking about, the promotional pricing. Hope you understand. That is our motivational one. So another pricing technique that we can talk about is penetration. Penetration pricing. Penetration pricing. Because we're told that the new products are introduced at a low price to attract buyers. This is the point that I'm talking about. New products are sold to convince customers to buy the product and as soon as the introductory offer is over, so the prices are increased. That is when you're talking about the motivation too. So let us go to our answers and see how they are. So here we are on our answers, pricing techniques. So we did talk about promotional pricing. They temporarily reduce the price of eggs to attract more customers. Penetration prices, new products are sold to convince new customers to buy products as soon as the introductory or offer is over. The prices are increased. So that is that. So now let us go to 3.32 question. So let us be on 3.232 question. 3.32 question says discuss the factors that influence what? Pricing. That is 3.32 factors that influences what? Pricing. So that is that. So we can quickly go to our answers. So here we are. Factors influencing prices. Pricing. Factors that influences pricing. So we can talk about the input costs. As I said, the higher the input cost, the higher the final price. Higher cost increase product price. That is what this statement in short means. Higher prices uh, or higher cost. Let me just write it that way. Higher costs. Higher costs increase product prices. Increase product price. Product price. Product prices. That is that. For example, rising fuel prices. We can talk of expensive raw materials. So that is that. Also, it says an increase in transport could increase the final price. So that is that. So an increase in transport could increase the final price. Demand for product. An increase in transport. That is when we're talking about demand. Demand for product. Demand for product. So it means higher demand can affect prices. For example, popular sneakers costing more, increased demand during holidays. So that is what we are trying to say. Also, another one is demand for product. So demand. So this is the point that I've just talked about. This is the point that I've just talked about. Sorry. This point is here. This is when we're talking about a demand for product is supposed to be here. Demand for product. Like I've said, higher demand can increase prices. This is the higher demand, the higher the production volume, the lower the input cost and the lower final prices. So that is that. So now let us move on, good people. Let us move on to 3.4. 3.4, we are asked to explain the importance of pricing in business. Explain the importance of pricing in business. So let's quickly go to that question and give answers. Importance of pricing in business. Importance of pricing in business. As it says, the pricing process needs to consider flexibility and discount or territory, life cycle status, or allowance. So that is importance of pricing. It affects sales and profit. The pricing process needs to consider flexibility and discount and territory or life cycle. Pricing affects the number of products that an enterprise is able to sell, which in turn affects profitability. So that is that. Also, it says the price of a product can influence customers' attitude towards product or the brand. So influences customer attitude. Customers judge products by price. So expensive perfume is seen as a high quality. So very cheap products viewed as a poor quality. That's what we are saying. If the price is believed to be too high, fewer customers may buy the product. So that is that. So fewer customers are going to buy the product because of the high prices. So if the price is too low, customers may perceive the goods as being poor quality. So that is that. They may think that is a poor quality. We are together because of the low price. Once the price is low, they think of that that product is of a poor quality. The pricing policy should explain when to whom discounts will be granted. So the pricing policy should explain when and to whom discounts will be granted. Who are to benefit from the discounts? That is that those who buy in bulk. That is that those who make or settle their accounts early. That is that the price of product must make provision for transport cost and the value added takes. That is that low sales result in stockpiles and sold product that have to be stored and not repaying the cost of manufacturing product. Prevents unsold stock. Proper pricing reduces excess stock. That is what we are saying. So now we are to go to 3.5. 3.5. So 3.5, we are to read the scenario. As it states, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Horse Traders, HT. Horse Traders specializes in the manufacturing of kitchenware. HT make use of intermediaries to distribute their products. They use other business to sell consumers in small quantities. So 3.5, identify the type of intermediary used by HT. That is that. So now we are to quickly go to, but before we can there, we can even read the other question. Explain the reasons why HT as a manufacturer will prefer to make use of indirect distribution methods. So now we can quickly go to our answers. So 3.5. So that is that. So remember, the channel distribution is what we want. So that is that, the channel distribution. So S says the 3.51, we're talking about retailers. Retailers, we know very well, they sell directly to consumers. So the other question, that is that we're not talking about supermarkets, you can talk of closing stores. So the other question was to give the reasons why manufacturers prefer to make use of indirect distribution methods. So that is that when you're saying the experienced agents or intermediaries deal with customers, which allow business to focus on core issues. Meaning to say business focuses on core activities. Intermediaries handle what? Customers. For example, wholesalers distributing products, agents selling products. That is that. Transportation or storage are taken care of by intermediaries. So many intermediaries manage logistics again. They do what? They manage logistics. We can talk of warehouses storing goods. We can talk of delivery companies transporting products. That is that. There is no need to hire specialized staff to do sales complaints. So there is no need to hire that. That is that. Business do not have to deal with customers complaints. That is that. Business enjoy the benefits of bulk orders from uh, wholesalers. Better market coverage is achieved by using intermediaries, so products reach more customers. Intermediaries understand how market coverage operates. Consumers are often spread across country. Distribution needs to be widespread. That is that. Also, indirect distribution does not require large investment in advertising. So, meaning to say, lower advertising cost. That is that. Intermediaries sometimes provide credit to consumers, which help which help attract more consumers. So that is that. So now let's quickly go to 3.6. 3.6. So here we are on 3.6. Explain the importance of product development. Also, 3.7, advise the business on the role of public relations in publicity. So let's go to the answers now. So here we are on importance of product development. Importance of product development. That is where we are now. So as it says, product design needs to be designed to suit the needs of the customers. Of the customers. So products must suit customers' needs. That is what we are saying. Products should satisfy customers. That is in short what it means. If the product design does not suit the target market, there will be very little demand for the product. So that is that. If ever is not going to suit the target market, we are going to have low sales because demand is going to decline as well. Business need to develop new products in order to replace older products in stage 4 when sales decline. So we are talking about replacing of old products. New products replace outdated ones. That is that. Business are able to remain competitive because they are always on the lookout for ways to improve products. That is when you keep business competitive. Business improve products regularly so that they can stand out. Products become different from those of the competitors. So makes products different. Business stand out from competitors, like I've said, unique product, unique flowers, for example, innovative technology that can make you stand out. So remember 3.7, we are to give the role of public relations in publicity, the role of public relation in publicity. That is that 3.7. At these days, public relations aim to present favorable image of the business and its products or service. So it builds positive image. PR improves the business reputation. Public relations improves the business reputation. Can make charity events as a business that is going to give you good reputation. That is that. Many businesses outsource the public relations function to an outside agency to take advantage of their specialized knowledge. So uses of specialists, in short, business may hire PR agencies. That is when we're talking of media consultants, branding agencies. That is that. The public relations department builds good relationships with representatives of media and the press. So maintains media relationships. PR communicates with the media. That's when you can talk of press conferences, media interviews, and then they keep the media informed of new products, about product launches, and the opening of new factories or shops for the attention of the public. So they promote new news to the public. Like PR informs people about business activities. Hope you're together with people. Hope you're together with people. Also, the public relation function supports marketing efforts to establish and build brand identity. So that is that grade 11s. Now we are to move on to question 4. We are to move on to question 4. That's where we are to be. So this is our question 4. Sorry, question 4. Question 4 is about business environments. Business environments. So now we are asked, name 4 components of macro environment. Name 4 components of macro environment. And let's quickly attend to the answers on macro environments. Question 4. That is that question 4. Here we are on question 4. Components of macro environment. Components of macro environment. That is that. So the first one, physical and natural environment. So when you talk of physical and natural environment, you're talking about natural conditions affecting business. You can talk of droughts, you can talk of floods. That is that. Economic environment. So we can talk of, when you talk of economic environment, you're talking about economic conditions influencing business. That is inflation. You can talk of interest rates. We can talk of social, cultural, demographic environment. Here we're talking about people lifestyle and population trends. For example, fashion trends, population growth. That is that. Technological environment. Here we're talking of technology changes business operations. For example, online shopping, automated machinery. Legal environment as well is one of the components of macro environment. Then there we are talking about laws affecting business, like labor laws, consumer protection laws. Political environment, that's when we're talking about government actions affecting business, tax policies, political stability. International or global environment, that's when we're talking about global events affecting environment. That is when we can talk of exchange rates, international competitions. So that is that. So also institutional environment, organization influencing business. That is when we're talking about trade unions. That's when we're talking about as well as banks. So that is that. So now 4.2. 4.2. 4.2, we are to read the scenario. It says, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follows. That is Galaka Consultants, JC. Galaka Consultants is an accounting firm that offers various services to other business. They form the business with another business to build on expertise of each other on how they complement one another. So now the questions now. 4.21, identify from the scenario above in which business can form a power relationship. That is that. So a power relationship. So now we quickly go to our answers. The people quickly run to our answers. For question 4, where we are now talking about power relationships. So that is strategic alliance or partnership agreements. So strategic alliance and partnership agreements, business work together for mutual benefit. For example, joint ventures, we can talk of shared advertising campaigns. Hope we are together on that. So now let us be on 4.22. 4.22 discuss two other ways in which business can form power relationships. 4.3 explain reasons why business lobby. 4.44 advise business on information management as a way to adapt challenges in a business environment. So now let us attend to those questions. Let us attend to those questions. 4.22, remember we are to talk about persuasion of large investors. Persuasion of large investors. So that is that. So as it says, we are saying if a business has a powerful investor, it can often benefit from relations by gaining credit more easily and negotiating better deals from suppliers. So business attract powerful investors for support. That is in short, whereby investors, for example, funding for expansion, that is that for 4.22. And also it says business invite powerful influential people to sit on their board of directors and gain valuable advice from these people. Having such powerful person as a part of business may also have positive influence on the reputation and image of the business. So the other one is what company representatives influence. Company representative influence. When we talk of company representative influence, we're talking about representatives persuade investors and customers. For example, skills sales representatives, public spokespersons. As it says, this representative fulfills an important function in trying to persuade investors to invest in a particular business practice. People make decisions based on company's image, personality, communication style, and power persuasion. Business must invest time and energy to recruit the right person for this job. So that is that with people, that is that. Remember 4.3, we were asked to give reasons why business lobby. Reasons why business lobby. Business lobby to change laws like child labor laws, clean air, water laws, municipal regulations. So business lobby to improve business conditions. So for example, reducing taxes, changing labor regulations, that. Also, like we are saying, the viewers of lobby groups are important to make difference by giving solutions to business challenges. So that is when we say find solutions to challenges. That is where lobby groups help business to solve problems. For example, discussing electricity shortages, addressing transport issues. That is that. Lobbying advances what a business must deliver on and build public trust. So that is that. Also, Ruby helps to find solutions to emerging generic challenges. Business Ruby, they are regulators, supervisory board in order to try influence policies, regulations, and other decisions made by the regulator of the supervisory body. So that is that. Then 4.4 is about the information management as a way to adapt to challenges in a business environment. So as it, information must be found and recorded and stored easily, retrieved and effectively used. So it means recording and storing of information. Business manage information properly. So you can talk of customer databases, you can talk of financial records. Business need to implement an effective information management system which is accessible and usable to all staff. So here we're talking about effective IT system. Technology improves efficiency. Information must be managed efficiently and system must be put in place so that relevant staff can easily access it. Here we're talking about easier access to information. Employees access information quickly. Large capital should be invested into information technology system to update business operations. So that is that. Also, modern IT solutions enable business to satisfy customer needs more efficiently. So that is that with people. And then we are to go to question. We are to go to question 4.5. We are to go to question 4.5. Question 4.5. So here is our question 4.5. Question 4.5, business operations. Business operations. That is that. So question 4 says, state any four marketing activities in a business. State any four marketing activities in a business. That's what the question wants. Any four marketing activities in a business. So now we are to quickly go to our answers for that question. Any four. So here we are. Marketing activities. So we have standardization, we have storage, we have transport, we have finance, we have risk bearing, we have buying and selling. So with standardization, we know very well that is ensuring products are consistent. Ensuring products are consistent. Same bag recycled worldwide. Standard clothing sizes. Storage now, keeping goods safely until sold. Hope we get this straight, good people. Hope we get this. So with standardization, we are saying ensuring products are consistent. Products are consistent. Are consistent. That is that. That is where you're going to sell same beggar recycled worldwide. But with storage now, we are saying make sure that you are keeping goods safely until sold. You are keeping goods safely until sold. Until sold. That is that. Warehouse storage on top of refrigerated storage. That is that. So with transport, moving products to customers. That is that. Moving products to customers. That is that when we are delivering trucks, cargo trains. Financing now we are talking about providing money for operations. We are talking about what? Providing money for operations. Providing money for operations. That is financing. So we talk of bank loans, we talk of business investments, that is that. Risk bearing now, that's when you're protecting business from losses. Protecting business from losses. So that is that when you're talking of insurance policies, you're talking about security systems. Buy and selling, that is purchasing and selling products. Purchasing and selling products. So that is that. Buying stock from suppliers, selling products to customers, that is what you are trying to say. So we do understand this. So now let us go to 4.6. 4.6. So here we are on 4.6. Let's see, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Here we have Hunt Benis, HB. Hunt Benis specializes in the manufacturing of winter beanies. Their designers are working on the design and development of products ideas that would allow for one size fits all approach. So the question now says, name one stage of product design from the scenario above. Question 4.6, to explain other stages of product design, that would be also be followed by HB. Question 4.7, discuss the purpose of advertising. 4.8, recommend ways in which business can comply with occupational health and safety. So now we can go to our answers, good people. We can now go to our answers for those questions. Here we are on question 4.6. As you remember, we asked about what? The stage of the product design from the scenario, that is design and development of product ideas. So business create improved product ideas, that is what we have seen from the scenario. So, and it says other stages of product design that will be followed. So it says selecting and sifting product ideas and or idea screening or idea screening. That is where you are selecting the best ideas. So that is that. Development and testing of the product concept, which should happen before a product is developed. So here we're talking about the product concept testing. Testing customer reactions. That is when you do product surveys. That is when you do trial samples. So that is that. Analyze the product profitability of product concept, business analysis. So here you check profitability of the business. That when you can check the cost analysis, sales forecast, so that you can see if you're going to make a profit. Design and test the physical product. A real product is made for the first time. Product testing. So that is testing the real product, testing machinery safety, trial use of products, that is that. Consumer responses must be tested using small sample of the product and market testing. So selling products to small groups first, that is what that point means. And also now it talks of technical implementation of systems and processes are put in the production planning and control process. Technical implementation, in short, planning production system. For example, you can talk of factory preparation, staff training. That's how you can do that planning. Commercialization, the product is launched and marketing or advertising campaigns implemented. Commercialization, that is where you launch the product officially. Advertising campaigns, for example, product launches, events, for example. Also, new product pricing, or the product is priced and forecast worked out. So product pricing means setting product prices. So that is when, for example, introductory pricing, competitive pricing. So that is that grade levels. So now let us move on, people. Let us move on to the purpose of advertising, because we are asked to talk about the purpose of advertising. Purpose of advertising: obtain attention of potential customer or consumer. Gain attention. So advertising attracts customers, we know. So that is that. Also says spark interest in the product or service, meaning great interest. Advertising makes customers curious. Develop the desire in customers to have what is being offered. Develop desire. Customers want the product. So that is that. Then induce action, which may potentially lead to purchasing the product or service. So you encourage action by so doing. You are advertising. Advertising encourages purchases. Buy now promotions. That is that. Limited time offers. That is that. That's how you're going to encourage your customers to buy your product. So 4.8, the last one, which says ways in which business can comply with Occupational Health and Safety Act. As it says, provide workers with protective gear to protect themselves against potential dangerous situations. So here we're saying provide protective gear. Protect employees from danger. Helmets, safety gloves can Provide search. So that is that. Now ensure that first aid boxes are always available. Provide emergency medical supplies. That is when to go first aid boxes. Make fire extinguishers available in the workplace. So help control fires. Fire extinguishers help control fire. So have the office fire extinguishers, have factory fire equipment. That is that. Fire extinguishers need to be serviced regularly. That is when we can now maintain machinery. So make sure that you service them. Machinery must be maintained at regular intervals and repaired properly. Employers who employ more than 20 employees must appoint at least one health and safety representative for every 100 employees. You appoint safety representatives. Workers monitor workplace safety. Ensure health and safety persons at work and during the use of plants and machinery. So that is that. So people, this is the end of this presentation. Please make sure that you make use of this presentation, as it is very important, as it's going to help you to get well prepared for the coming test that you're going to write for term 2. Thank you.